Blue Gal here. Happy March, happy spring, happy everything. We're going to talk about frogging today because the March sock is a fail. I started this sock in some yarn that youngest child got me at Stephen and Penelope's in Amsterdam when they were on they were doing study abroad for the month of January in Europe and got me some sock yarn. And this particular brand of yarn, and it is yarn that is hand dyed in Amsterdam. So let me look at my stash here and I can tell you, because this is something I put on Ravelry actually. I put the yarn on Ravelry. I'm starting to put my stash on Ravelry, by the way, it feels good to do that. And this yarn in my stash here is Bird Street BFL 75 4-ply light fingering. And I can really tell that it's light fingering. It's too light. As a matter of fact, I think for my gauge, this is knit on ones. I think it's too loose. I can see through the light with that. Here you can see it's just too loose. I don't want to go down to size 0 needles. I also tried to cast on with some regular solid green yarn, which goes together fine, except this is actually full-blown fingering weight, not light fingering, and so the sock flares out a little bit. I don't like the weight of this compared to the weight of the ribbing. And I tried doing a different pattern with a garter stitch heel flap, which is giving me way too much fabric width on the sock, and I just am not liking anything about this. So off the needles it comes. I'm going to pull it out of here and start unraveling it while I talk to you about other things. But this is what we in knitting call as one person on another website. This was on, again, I'm sorry for looking at my computer while I'm talking to you, but all my notes are here. Amanda Buckley over at Sweet Georgia Yarns called this the knitter's version of loud quitting. And it is. It's just, you say, look, I'm done. This is not working. So I'm going to wind it sort of tight around the ball here and just get it. I know it's got a little bit of a kink in it, and I don't care because I'm just going to make it into another sock. And yeah, it's going to be okay. So I'm just going to wind the yarn while I talk to you about a bunch of other things. The sweater I'm knitting. The sweater I'm knitting is called On the Go Gansey Jacket. It is from Interweave Knits magazine from 1998. I knit this sweater finished it in 2003. And in fall of 2003, I was pregnant with my third child and went to Knitters Camp with Meg Swanson. It was the one time I went to Knitters Camp, and I didn't fully realize when I went there and wore this sweater that this is Meg Swanson's yarn. This is her Aran weight product. And so I was so pleased that I remembered that when I got there, like, oh yes, that's right, this is Meg Swanson yarn. And I got this yarn in a sale/swap at my knitting guild, and at the time in Alabama. And I remember, the thing I remember about this sweater is, number one, this sweater, the buttons were more expensive than the yarn. I spent I remember very specifically spending $26 on 7 buttons. They were $3.50 a piece plus tax. And I just had to have these buttons because they matched the yarn so well. And then the other thing is that when I got there and showed off the sweater and showed Meg Swanson the sweater, she wound up putting on the sweater. And I, as a pregnant with my 3rd child, there we go. That's Meg Swanson wearing the sweater that I'm wearing right now at Knitters Camp in 2003 with me standing beside her. And there's tears in my eyes because Meg Swanson's trying out a sweater that I knit. And, oh, by the way, I'm still unraveling this sock. Do it. Something doesn't work, unravel it. I'm also not really looking at the camera as I should be. I'm sorry about that. There we go. That's better. Unravel it. It's not working. Unravel it. Put it back on the ball. Do some loud quitting. That's what we got to do. Because it's a waste of energy to hold on to something that's not working. So I'm going to unravel this, and I think this is going to become a hat. I think I'm going to double it and make a. It won't be a DK because it's too fine. I'll have to figure out. Maybe I can knit it on 4s or something, doubled. But green is my son's favorite color, so this would make a great hat for him. All right, and then this. I think I'm just going to toss this part because this is. There's enough here to hold on to it for, we'll see. I'll put it back in the bag and we'll see if I need it. All right, so that's done. Kiss it goodbye. The sock I was unhappy about, but this is also kind of disappointing to me because this is the first month in about 2 years that I have not finished a sock. But I frogged a sock. So, hey, I got something done. I frogged a sock this month, right? The other thing I finished this month, oh, come on. I'm not having a good day, guys, in terms of being elegant with my podcasting. This is Asylum yarn. I knit this little scarflet at Cast It On at Stitch Up Chicago, which is a wonderful thing to go to. It's my 2nd year going to Stitch Up Chicago at the beginning of this month. And the gal from Asylum Yarns was there this year. She hand dyes yarn, in her house. This is merino. And they had this easy little triangle pattern to give away that was easy to memorize and easy to do, and used up the entire skein. And I think I might have what I had left of this skein in this little bag. Let's see. I think that's what this is. Nope, that's not it. All right. It was like a little tiny ball of yarn left. So we really got a chance to use up a skein of this DK weight merino hand-dyed gorgeous yarn from Asylum. And I'll be getting more of this at some point. And then Miss Babs was there also. There was a representative from Miss Babs, and a number of the hand dyers there gave out 20% off coupons. I didn't see a lot on the website for Asylum Yarns because I know for a fact that the gal from Asylum Yarns brought so much of her stock to Stitch Up Chicago. of what she had on hand. So I'm not surprised that she didn't have a lot on her website at this moment. But of course, Miss Babs is had much bigger capacity. And they had a 20% off coupon. So I bought a skein of Perfectly Reckless sock yarn. Can't wait to knit socks out of, or a hat out of this. I have bought this before years ago. This is their crazy colorway, Perfectly Reckless. And this is tart fingering yarn, and it is, you can just tell, comparing this to the green yarn that I just showed you, it has a heft to it as a fingering weight sock yarn that this other lighter green yarn, it just doesn't have. This really is light fingering. So, buyer beware and knitter beware in terms of getting gauge on. I didn't think about it. You're knitting a sock. You've got sock yarn casted on. The gauge on this on size 1 needles, it just wasn't knitting up the way I wanted it to because it's light. So I won't have that problem with this yarn. I know that I can tell that from the heft of it that it's going to fill in those stitches, and that on size 1 it'll be a nice hefty sock. I have been knitting blankets for Lent. Well, let me just finish the sock first here. This is a sock that I started in January with Merman from Hedgehog Fibers. And this is the next sock I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish this pair in the next 3 weeks or so. I'm going on vacation. This is Hermione's favorite sock pattern. I love that. Really great for variegated yarns because you've got a lot of purl bumps in there. It is knit 3, purl 1 across, and then you knit across, and then you knit 3, purl 1 with the with the purl bumps alternating in between the previous row of purl bumps. So it gives you a polka dot of purl bumps on the pattern, and that really brings out and breaks up the variegated yarns. So this one's going to get finished. I'm going on vacation at the end of April, and so I want to have these finished before I go so I can start a new pair of socks on my vacation. All right, blankets. I have been working on blankets for Lent. The cross blanket is coming along, but I had to frog. I had done garter stitch. I'm doing these garter stitch borders on this blanket, and I had a mistake in here. And this morning, I had to rip out about 6 rows because I tried going back and repairing the garter, and it was faster. It was faster to rip out 6 rows. But these squares are coming along. I am going to finish this year. I'm not going to wait until I'm not going to bag it up again for next Lent because I want to finish it. Then I also cast on, as a brand new blanket, because I'm crazy, I cast on my favorite blanket pattern, and that is the Gakoko baby blanket from Mini Me. I hope you can see that. It's a eyelet and garter, and the way that you alternate the knits and the purls and the yarn overs and the decreases, it looks like cable, but there's no cable in it. It has such a bang for the buck in terms of going along. It's an easily memorizable pattern. It's only 12 rows, and the wrong side rows are just purl across. I'm knitting it in loops and threads, and the ball band on this one broke, so I used some postcards to voters washi tape to hold that together. But this is Loops and Threads Luxe Merino Wool Blend. It does have, an artificial fiber in it, but it also has superwash wool in it. Here we go. Let me see what the combination is here. It is 55% merino superwash and 40 acrylic. So it is soft, and I'm hoping it doesn't pill too much, but I'm going to knit. I cast it on and I got just a little bit done, but it is so meditative. It is so relaxing to knit this. And like I said, you don't need to, the chart is just easy to memorize, and then you turn around and purl across, and it's just, so relaxing to knit. So this is my third time knitting this blanket, and I love it. I just love it. Then finally, the other thing was this, and this is not my work. This came from a person at church asked me to finish this. The person that made it passed away. There is this much yarn of this light green color, and then less than this of the dark green and the cream. Much less, actually. So she just asked me, it's a size I hook, it's single crochet through the back loop. It's not hard. I was asked by the members of the Stitch and Go group at my church to put a few more rows on this, which is just a lovely opportunity. This is for the family of the person that passed. A lovely opportunity to serve, and also, not a huge investment of my time, but a precious thing to do. And it fit right in with Blankets for Lent. It forced me to think about that sock that I just ripped out in a different light, and realize, I've got more important things to do. This month I've got service knitting to do, service crochet to do. So I'll be finishing that and getting that off to my contact at church for the I'm going to give it back to her at Easter, because it's just a few more rows of crochet, so that'll get done. I think that's it. I've showed you the yarn I got. I showed you the blankets. I showed you everything. I think that's it. Yeah, Stitch Up Chicago. If they do it next year, and that's up in the air, they're doing different things. But if they decide to do Stitch Up Chicago again next year, I'll be going, because I've been twice and I really liked it. A lot of fun. Weekend of knitting. And I want to end by, I always end with some reading, and I wanted to share something, and this is just I know usually I read something a lot more deep than this, but some of you probably follow Courtney Carver. She's a decluttering expert and simplicity. She writes books on simplicity. She wrote a book about Project 333, which is about transforming your wardrobe into something that is a capsule wardrobe and minimalist, where you have 33 items in your closet for 3 months, and you box everything else up, and you live in 33 items, including jewelry, not including underwear, and not including workout clothes that you actually work out in. But every day, every other thing, it's earrings, necklaces, scarves, not socks, but everything else, all the pants, shirts, scarves, jewelry, get all of that down to 33 items. And for 3 months, live in those things. It forces you to wear your favorites. It forces you to determine what is flattering on you, and it gives you the freedom of fewer choices and less clutter in your closet. And so I have not done exactly the 333 method, but I have purged my closet many times since finding out about this. And I also use, I think I've talked about this before, for work, I use the black pants trick, which is black pants every single day. Wear a scarf, wear a top, wear a jacket, wear jewelry, everything different up here, but black pants. And that kind of wardrobe makes dressing so much easier. But I wanted to talk about an article she put out this weekend that was called, and I'll link it below, it's called Honest Decluttering Advice You Might Not Want to Hear. And when I was thinking about this in terms of yarn, it made so much sense. She pointed out, and I'm not going to read all of them, but she has, I forget how many things she has, 8. Okay, she has 8 things. But number 2 is your stuff isn't very special or worth much. She says, I'm sure your stuff is very nice. Mine was too. I thought it was special. It all meant something to me, which made it impossible to release. And so that really spoke to me of, oh, I remember buying that yarn, or I remember, how that yarn came to me or who gave it to me. And I can't possibly get rid of that. But the fact is, if you're never going to knit it and it's just sitting there, it's time to let it go. And I also think it's really important, and I am so grateful that I have done this. This has come to me. I've said this before. Have some place where your yarn can go where you know it's going to be appreciated, whether that's your knitting group, whether that's a charity sale, whether that's a nursing home. Find a place where the stash that you are never going to knit and that's just cluttering up your house, and you know it's not special, and you know you need to just get rid of it. But don't give it to the thrift store. Make sure you find a place where you know it will be appreciated and used. And it is so much easier to get rid of something if you know someone else is going to want it, and not just tossing it into the abyss of Goodwill. So highly recommend that. I found through my knitting guild, there is a ceramics and craft club in Springfield, Illinois, that holds a craft sale every fall. And they are the host of my knitting guild. Their building and their craft room is where we hold our guild meetings. And so they have a sale every November. And I know that the yarn goes at those sales. People buy the yarn. So I am so happy now to have a place for those, because yarn is always coming into my life. People are giving me yarn. People are saying, oh, I have yarn here, take it, give it to your guild, do whatever you want with it. Having that place, knowing that once a year I have a place to take yarn I'm not going to use, so important. And then the other thing that Courtney Carver says in this article that shouted at me was number 4, just in case means never. If you're holding on to yarn just in case, that's just procrastination. That's not holding on to it to knit it someday. I personally have enough yarn to knit for the rest of my life, and I still bought, the Miss Babs. Where did I put them? There it is. I still bought my Miss Babs, which I'm crazy about this crazy yarn. So I'm glad I have it, and I will knit it, but this can allow me to let something else go. And there's plenty in this stash that I have that I know I'm not going to knit, and it's time to purge it. So the yarn that I'm holding on to for just in case has got to go. So just throwing that out there. I guess the other thing is, and she sums up her article with this too, until you define what enough means to you, you will always have too much and never be content with the amount. And I have discovered that about sock yarn, that if I have 2 years of sock yarn, and that, since, my habit has been to knit a pair of socks every month, having 24 sock yarn projects is enough for me. So that does mean I can let go of some of the sock yarn, although some of it can become hats too. So, and I just really like fingering weight yarn. So I do hold on to those more than I would hold on to other yarns that are sitting in my stash not getting knit. So that's another thing. I will be definitely looking at my heavier weight yarn stashes to see what can go when the sale comes in October, November, to get that stuff bagged up and out the door. All right. I will link that article below, and I hope that you'll go and take a look and maybe get some inspiration out of it. And I hope that you guys have a great month. I'll be back before I go on vacation to show you what I've finished in terms of the blankets and the sock. I'm going to finish those merman socks. I'll have to show you. That I'll get done. I will get that done. All right. Thank you. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
What's Blue Gal knitting this month? It's gonna have color, it's gonna be socks. Maybe a sweater for the cold night weather, but whatever she's stitching, you know it rocks. Oh, it rocks. Oh, it rocks. Oh, it rocks. Striped toes peeking from the Sunday slippers, charts scribbled down on a sticky notepad, soft wool waiting in a basket by the window, every single stitch turning meh into rad. What's